Hi Aries, welcome to the Calling Your Wild Astrology and Tarot. Today we are doing a reading with the Good Tarot, the Moon Oracle, Black Moon Astrology cards, Ethereal Visions, Illuminated Tarot deck, and Kane's Arcanae. So the first card that we have is the Balsamic Waning Water Moon, and it has the word disillusionment on the bottom. So right off the bat, we are thinking about Neptune moving into your sign, and Neptune tends to make things a little confusing. Neptune tends to bring illusion, but because you've been dealing with it in Pisces, your subconscious, if we put Aries in the first house, Pisces is the 12th house. And so that's kind of what's happening in the background. And it possibly was making your imagination or your subconscious life, your unconscious life, a certain way. And now that it's moved into your first house or into your sun sign house, you may feel like it's actually brought some disillusionment. So you may feel like it is creating confusion, but in a way of, I thought this is how the world worked, I thought this is how my life was going to look, and suddenly it's not, and suddenly everything is foggy and hazy and confusing. It feels like an alternative reality. So Neptune can kind of make things really hazy and odd that way. And then we have the Two of Swords reversed. In the past, Aries, when you feel confused, when you feel unsure, you just leap off that cliff and you make it work. And you use your energy to blaze a new path, blaze a new trail. I think this reading is asking us to not bear the burden of this new shift, all these new changes and shakiness on your back solely. With Neptune, the medicine for Neptune is always to reach out to your guides, your guardians, your ancestors, your loved ones, the land spirits. We want to be asking for help from the other side. Spirituality is how we get through when Neptune grabs us, or Neptune forces us to abandon or let go of, or no longer take for granted the rules or structures that we have been relying on. So even if you feel like you can get through this, you're just gonna do your thing, I think it's really important to ask for help, to see what your spiritual team has to offer you. And that does take some quiet time in order to hear them. So we know you love action, Aries, but it might be time to really open yourself up to communicating with your guides. The next card we have is the second house, owning. So if Aries is your first house, your second house is Taurus. And we have Uranus moving out of Taurus right now. It's right now, I think it's at 27 degrees, but it's going to be eventually moving into Gemini. And what I was getting as far as that energy is, I don't know if you've ever lost power in your house at night. We lose it often here in Maine in the winter, and it will wake you up. Like, the quietness will wake you up as if something loud just happened. It's almost as if it's deafening, and you'll just like wake up immediately, or at least I do, because you're so used to that low buzz, that rhythm of the house, constantly, that when it stops, it's quite jarring. And I think that you're going to feel something similar when Uranus moves out of Taurus. You're going to feel that sudden quietness. You may have really gotten used to Uranus being in Taurus. Uranus can match your energy. It's exciting. It likes to innovate and create and break through. And you may have gotten used to that, and you may have built a business around that, or you may have built a career path around that energy because you got used to it. But now that it is moving out of Taurus, you may be feeling a little bit grippy. You may be unsure and nervous that the wealth or even your values that you have culminated around Uranus being present there, you may feel like it's slipping through your fingers, as it is for many of us. The world is very different than how we pictured it would be, and you may feel somewhat unnerved by that when it comes to your career and your finances. And we have another symbol of that right here with the Queen of Earth reversed. So you may feel very like the ground is very shaky beneath your feet, that what you thought was solid and true, you can no longer rely on, and it may feel like a death to you. And I think it's very important to honor that, and to honor that as a season change, as a shift. The way we survive the seasons is not by just forcing our way through them, but for, honoring that season and working with that season and befriending that season and understanding it and finding the joy that we can within that. So even a season of change, death, going dormant, certain things going dormant and quiet, it's really important to not fight it, but to honor it and to accept it and say, and just to take a beat and a moment to acknowledge it before we jump off the cliff again and find our next adventure. And if we honor the elements, if we speak with our ancestors, our guides, our guardians, our loved ones, and the land spirits, then we will find community and celebration, and we'll find collaboration as well, creativity, and people really need your enthusiasm, Aries. And I know with Neptune there, you may feel like, I used to be so sure, and now I don't feel so sure. And if you do take a moment to connect with your guides and with the spirit realm and spirituality, your creativity will come through tenfold, and you will be able to be that guiding inspiration that people have always really looked to you for and acknowledged you for and been inspired by. But it does, this spread does say that in order to reach that acknowledgement and community and creativity, we do need to just kind of accept that things are different now, and to just take a moment to acknowledge that with our hearts. You know, the Queen of Earth with the Death card, what's bringing up for me is the Hanged Man. Like it's a time for looking at things a little bit differently, and from a different angle, and more heart based, and then everything else will make a lot more sense. So I hope this resonated with some folks. If it didn't for you, it's a general reading, so take what did and leave what doesn't. And don't worry, Aries, you got this. Thanks for listening. Bye.